do your homework and due diligence. That's what everybody said, and I didn't do. Because of that, I got to make 2 trips to the South Carolina DMV. But I didn't make a list the first time of what to bring, and so I'm going to go over for South Carolina what to bring to the DMV with you, so that way you can only make 1 trip. If you don't live in South Carolina, there's other forms to fill out, and I don't know what they are, but if you look them up yourself, you might have a few more forms or a few less forms. It might be easier or tougher, but I would encourage you to do that before your truck gets to you, so that way you can have all your ducks in a row and you only make 1 trip to get your title and registration. So when I bought my truck, it was easy. It came to port and I used a broker, and that made it even easier because I just signed and scanned and emailed her back the documents, and the next thing I know, I had the truck. Whenever I got to the DMV, I thought that it was the last part, super easy, here we go. But there was a form that I didn't know about. What you're going to want to bring with you is 2 copies of everything that I'm going to go over. The first thing is a declaration. Whether you use a broker or yourself, you're going to want to bring the completed declaration from DOT, also the EPA form, and then the 7501, that's the entry summary, which comes through customs, and you get that after your vehicle is cleared through customs. I got mine in the mail a couple days after my truck got through, but my broker scanned and emailed it to me before she mailed it, so that way I had it to go to the DMV. So you're going to need all 3 of those regardless if you do it yourself or through a broker. Then in South Carolina, the 400 form, that is what's used for getting a new title and registration. If you don't know what it means, don't fill it out. If you have any questions, leave it blank, because the person that works at the DMV, they know more about it than you do, and they can help you fill it out. So I accidentally checked the wrong box, and I got to redo the whole thing just because 1 box. There's no whiteout. They won't let you. So if you don't know, leave it blank. The 4030 is the form that I didn't know about because I didn't do my homework or due diligence, and this is why I had to go back a second time. It's very basic. It's a translation document that just says that the translator took it from Japanese to English, and it's legit. But it also says this form will not be accepted if the translator information at the bottom of the page is not completed in its entirety. The translation must also provide a letter of verification from its employer on letterhead, qualifying them as a translator. Down at the bottom, it just says, I, the translator, declare that I speak both Japanese and English. And then if it's not an American Translator Association, whatever accreditation they have, that they translate from both Japanese to English, and that they verify this is legit. And it has their name and verification, whatever. So what I learned this day is that I needed 2 things. This form signed by a translator or the translator, and also a company letterhead saying that they are a legit translator. I thought it was going to be easy to just get somebody to sign off on it. It is, but it took a few steps to find somebody that could do it. The first place that I went was a local translator who they weren't local, they were just online, and they wanted $200 to $300 to translate it. So I said, that's a little bit expensive. I'm going to see if I can find something better. I then found rapidtranslate.org, and they were willing to translate the export certificate, or to verify that this was a good translation, or to modify it if it needed it. But they would not, or were not able to fill out the 4030 form for South Carolina, which that was the main thing that I needed. I mean, of course it needed to be verified, but the 4030, South Carolina needed that signed by the translator. So since Rapid Translate couldn't do that, I said, well, maybe I'll find the American Translator Association and see if there's a way to find translators in the area or someone that can help with this. So I went to the website. I figured that the individual might be cheaper. I don't know. You can search all you want to, but I went to individual and looking for a translator, looking for Japanese, there it is, to English. And at first I just hit search, and it shows you all types of people, and it doesn't necessarily show the it doesn't show, not everybody is the American Certified Translator, or an ATA Certified Translator. So to make that search a little bit clearer, if you check the ATA Certified in the search, that will give you only people who are certified translators. I don't know why there's non-certified. Maybe I guess if you don't need that certification, just want somebody to help you with something. But for the certification, which is what the 4030, where'd it go? This needs the American Translator Association. So I figured that would be the easiest way. So I went through here and I got everybody so once I found all these translators, the next step, so after I found all these translators, I emailed a few people. The first thing that I learned in this step was finding someone who did freelance, because since I did the individual route, not everybody is open for freelance. So what I did is I opened each page and I Control F to search and typed in freelance on every single one. And so once I found all of the, I kept the freelance pages and didn't keep the non-freelancers because I don't want to waste their time or mine. And so then I took an email that I had just put together just saying, hey, I recently bought this truck. I need to get the 4030 signed and also a company letterhead because I want to make sure that A, they could sign it, and B, they could have a company letterhead go with it because I didn't want to make a third trip. So in emailing all the people that had freelance in their information, I did not put the original certificate and the translated version because I didn't want someone to spend their time looking at something that they might not get paid for. So I waited and I got 3 replies because I just wanted to know if they could do it and how much it cost. Out of those 3 people, all of them charged about $75 to look at it and to say, yes, this is a good or proper translation to English from Japanese. So I chose one of them, emailed him the documents. He looked at them, he said, these are good. He emailed them back to me, and he filled out the 4030, and he sent a certificate of accuracy. Unfortunately, his certificate of accuracy did not have his company letterhead on the top, and so when I went to the DMV, they were looking at it and they said, this doesn't have a letterhead on the top, so I don't know if this is the company. Can you email this to us? And so I forwarded the email from the communications that we had to the DMV, and she looked at it and she saw it and she approved it. All this time, I asked Mitsui if they could do the 4030 and the letterhead. And since their day starts at like 7 or 8 o'clock our time, they're 13 hours ahead of Eastern, it's more difficult there's less time to talk to them. And so I had emailed them for multiple days trying to get them to do the same thing, and it just didn't work out. So if you're able to get whoever translated your document over there, if you're able to get them to fill out the 4030 or whatever you might have and to do the company letterhead, it'll probably save you a little bit of money. But in the end, for $75, I got it done and it worked. So the things that you're going to want to bring with you is the EPA, the DOT, the entry summary, which is the 7501, the 400, which you can get there at the DMV, the 4030, which is signed by the translator with a company letterhead. That is American Translated Association certified, along with the original export certificate, which this is not the original. The DMV kept it. I asked her, I said, hey, can I have that back or do I get it back? And she said no. Pretty much this is like the previous title and you don't get to keep that. And they also kept the certified translated version of this, but you're going to want to bring the originals with you. The paid receipts from your county taxes You need to show them that you paid for the taxes of the vehicle. And then also, something that I didn't have was a bill of sale, which, I mean, the invoice kind of is, but since it's just an invoice and not a bill of sale, there was a form that she gave me. I tried looking up and couldn't find it, but it pretty much was like a one-party bill of sale, and I don't know if I just got lucky and got it filled out or what. But if you can get a bill of sale from whoever you bought it from, so find a bill of sale for your region. So if you live in South Carolina, you can just look up generic South Carolina bill of sale, or Tennessee, Texas, wherever. And I would recommend emailing that to the people that you bought it from and getting them to do that. If you bought it at auction, it might be a little bit different, but if you can have your bill of sale and your translation document, both of those two things ready before your truck even comes over or makes it to the port, that will save you at least a trip to the DMV. And I don't know how many hours I spent trying to find a translator and going through all of that. So I would recommend, if you're looking for a translator, going on the American Translation website and searching on there and emailing people on there, because they're certified. Well, find one that's certified, and they should be able to help you on that. So again, I'll encourage you to do your homework and research. If you live in South Carolina, the 4030 is going to need to be filled out. And if you live in a different state, find out what translation document there is. If you have one, you might not, but you probably will. Also, if you can get the bill of sale, that'll help you out as well. And do all of this before your vehicle comes to port, because that way, when you do have it in your hands, you can take everything, 2 copies of everything, with you to the DMV, and just with one trip, get your vehicle on the road.